Who would be the most entertaining candidate to watch in 2024? Today on Political Excess, we're going to try something a little bit different, have a little bit of fun. We're going to do a tier ranking for who would be the most entertaining if they actually were to launch a 2024 campaign. So I've got tiers A, B, C, D, and F, and there's no S tier. I'm not really an S tier guy. So A will be the most exciting, F tier down at the bottom. Those are going to be the people that are the biggest snooze. Now, most entertaining, that's subjective. Everyone's going to have their own criteria, but I'm mostly focusing on the candidates themselves and their personalities, a little bit of the media coverage surrounding them. So there's a lot of candidates to get through. Let's go through this quickly. And the first person here is Donald Trump. And Donald Trump is going to have to go in the A tier, whether you love him or hate him. People can't get enough of him. He's great for ratings. He's entertaining. And he's provocative. He stirs it up. He's got his cult following of people that adore him. And then there's another cult following of people that oppose him irrationally. So either way, Trump is going in the A tier. Next, we have Joe Biden, and he's pretty far from Donald Trump. He used to provide some kind of entertainment when he was vice president. He had some gaffes here and there. Now he's pretty much a snooze, pretty bland and boring. Not much excitement from Biden. Maybe once in a while he falls off a bike, but that's not saying much. Biden goes in D. Next, we have Ron DeSantis, and he's pretty much borderline C and B. He's not the most exciting candidate, but he does stir things up culturally, antagonizes the media once in a while, not as much as Trump. And I'll put him in the B tier. I think he would provide enough entertainment if he were running, certainly more than most of the rest of these candidates. Next, we have Gavin Newsom. And Newsom, I think, would be under DeSantis, but above Biden. We'll put him in the middle of the pack in the C tier. Next, we have Elizabeth Warren. She's got a lot of energy, and there'd be a little bit of entertainment there from Elizabeth Warren. Enough for the C tier. Next, Nikki Haley. She's already running, and I don't think she's really all that exciting, all that entertaining. Some people like her. Personality-wise, I think she's on the low end of things. I'll put her in the D tier. Next, Gretchen Whitmer, governor of Michigan. She's also not super exciting. Says something quirky once in a while. I'm going to put her also in the D tier. Maybe you want to put her in C tier. I understand. Next, Mike Pompeo. Pompeo is going to go in the D tier as well. A lot of people really probably don't even know who he is, but I don't think he's really all that entertaining. Next, Pete Buttigieg. He certainly has fans. He has people who do not like him at all, but that's pretty irrelevant. As far as entertainment goes, I think there's enough for the C tier. Next, Glenn Youngkin, governor of Virginia. I always thought Youngkin was more on the bland side, and I gotta put him in the D tier. Some people like bland, like with Biden. As far as entertainment goes, it's not going to be Youngkin. Next, we have J.B. Pritzker, governor of Illinois, and Pritzker has enough for the C tier. Sometimes he does or says something entertaining, not often enough to go above the C tier. Next, Greg Abbott, Texas governor. I think Greg Abbott doesn't have a lot of entertainment value. I'm going to put him in the D tier. Same with Marco Rubio, who's next. I don't think Rubio has a lot of zest, and I'll just leave it at that. Next, Bernie Sanders. And if somebody else is going to go in A, it's probably got to be Bernie Sanders. He's definitely not as entertaining as Trump, and he's a little bit older now. He's unpolished, and a lot of people on the ground floor, the workers, they like that kind of thing. Seems to say what he thinks, and he kind of comes off as a little bit of a fighter. So that's going to be entertaining enough for the top tier. But again, Donald Trump, he's pretty much in his own tier. Next, Chris Sununu, governor of New Hampshire. Not much to say here. I'm going to put him in the D tier. Next, we have Cory Booker, senator from New Jersey. And I've seen Booker in interviews, give speeches, and he's not really all that bland. He's got a lot of energy, and I think that'll put him in the middle of the pack. Next, we have Amy Klobuchar, and she's from Minnesota, and she's going to be the first one in the F tier. I just don't see it out of Amy Klobuchar. She's unexciting, bland, boring, however you want to put it, milquetoast. She tries, but it just doesn't land. Again, some people like that, but if you're talking about entertainment, it's not going to be Amy Klobuchar. Next, we have Rand Paul. And Paul, probably going to be low C tier. I do think he's kind of boring. He's definitely not as exciting as his dad, Ron Paul, but sometimes he says something that draws attention. He's not afraid to say what he thinks, so we'll put him in the C tier. Next, Chris Christie. And he was kind of Trump before Trump when he was governor, and he may have lost a step or two since then, but he's still blunt, and he still says what he thinks, and he's the butt of a lot of jokes. But I think Chris Christie would be entertaining. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I'll put him in the B tier. Next, Stacey Abrams. There's not much here for Stacey Abrams. I'm going to put her in the D tier. Jared Polis, governor of Colorado. You don't hear a lot about him. He's another one of these people where a little bit of a quirky personality. Sometimes he says something, but for the most part, low C tier. Next, Liz Cheney. And this would be funny, I think, if she were to run a 2024 campaign. Her whole image is anti-Trump, so that would be a little bit entertaining, but it would kind of wear thin because I think that's all she's about. Other than that, I think she's really boring, so we'll put her in the C tier. Next, we have Hillary Clinton, and back in 2016, there was entertainment here. She was basically this consultant-tested politician that tried to act like she was the opposite. Kind of like a robot telling you they're not a robot. That was entertaining. I'm going to put her in the B tier. She's had a lot of amusing lines, and I don't think it's supposed to come off that way, but it did, and she goes in the B tier. Next, we have Mitt Romney, and he's going to join Amy Klobuchar in the F tier. Mitt Romney is a pure snooze fest, and he's on the bottom tier. Next, Tom Cotton, senator from Arkansas. I put him in the D tier. I think he's kind of bland, and maybe he's in the high D tier. Sometimes he does say something a little bit more provocative. And next, we have Tulsi Gabbard. And there is definitely entertainment here with Gabbard. Over the last year or so, her politics have changed. So she's made some new friends and made some new enemies. But at this point, I think she would be amusing and entertaining and intriguing to watch if she actually ran a campaign. Next, Kristi Noem, governor of South Dakota. I guess I'll put her in the C tier. She's a little bland for me, but sometimes she does say something a little bit spicy. Next, Tim Scott from South Carolina, and he's a nice guy, but that's not what this ranking is all about. This ranking is about entertainment, and Scott doesn't have any. Next, Phil Murphy, governor of New Jersey. And Phil Murphy is going to go in the C tier. I'll say he's entertaining enough and leave it at that. Next, we have Brian Kemp, governor of Georgia, and Kemp is going to go in the D tier. Every time I see him at a debate or in an interview, there's nothing vibrant about Brian Kemp. He's going to go in the D tier. Next is Joe Manchin. He's going to join Brian Kemp. He's not good enough for the F tier, but he is pretty weak in my opinion. And next we have Mike Pence, and Pence is going to go in the F tier. Pence is a guy who might not know the meaning of the word excitement. I suppose he did have the fly on his head during that vice presidential debate, but personality-wise, Pence would not be entertaining anybody. Next we have AOC, and she's kind of a celebrity type of politician at this point, and she's polarizing, provocative. She'd probably say some things that would stir it up, and a lot of people aren't going to like her. She's going to have some fans, but there would be entertainment there, and she's going to go in the B tier. Next is Roy Cooper, governor of North Carolina. Not much to say about him. I'm going to say he's boring enough to get the F tier. Maybe you put him in D tier. I understand, but I'm going to put him in F. Next, we have Josh Hawley. I put Hawley in the C tier. His personality isn't really all that exciting. Maybe he goes against the grain once in a while. That's going to be enough for the C tier. And next we have Rick Scott, and I'm going to have to put Rick Scott in the F tier. Next, Ted Cruz. He kind of has that car salesman kind of personality. He's polarizing, but the entertainment factor, there's enough there for the C tier. Next, we have Asa Hutchinson, former governor of Arkansas, and he's going to go in the F tier. If Asa actually ran a 2024 campaign, it'd be pure crickets. Next, Kamala Harris, and she's going to go a little bit higher up because there is some entertainment there. During interviews, during speeches, she does have that laugh. She does have those long non-answers. But I do think there'd be entertainment there, sort of like Hillary Clinton, as she tries to act like she's not a politician and just a regular person. But I think that's going to fall flat, but it would be entertaining. And finally, we have Larry Hogan, former governor of Maryland, and we'll put him in the D tier. And he's pretty low on the excitement, but not low enough. And there's your tiers. Everyone's going to have something different. But essentially, D and F tier, those are the people that'll bring down the mood at any event, any party. A and B tier, those are the ones you want to call if you want to spice it up. And who knows, somebody could always surprise and be extremely boring or extremely exciting. But these are the tiers that I came up with. Let me know in the comments, which of these do you strongly disagree with? Or do you agree with most of these tiers? Let me know down below. On your way out, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next video.